Okay, what we got next in the series of repairs is metal. So let's say that your corner bead gets hit, right? Now, the difference between my corner bead and another corner bead is that I put paper on there, or I put mesh tape on it. So that's why this still looks so strong compared to other people that don't use it. So there's a lot of persons that when they do the metal, they don't put any mesh tape. So you don't have this strength here. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to cut out the damaged area. I'm going to assess that it's about to there, to there, to there. And we tape both sides. You can see that in another video. Now this one, depending on how your metal is in your house, you're gonna have to use different tools. You could use a keyhole saw, you could need a hammer, you could need snip. Well, either way, you're gonna need a pair of snips, okay? So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut out this bad part. You have to get behind there. Now, if you don't have metal and you have that other stuff that's composite or plastic, it may be easier, but you're still gonna have to cut it. But if you can hear it, that's why I mesh my metal, because it really binds it. It binds it on there really good. Okay, so no matter what, you're gonna have to buy a whole stick. You can't just buy a piece of this. So what I'm gonna replace it with is composite. So you can measure how long you need. You can either put it up there and cut it, or you can use a measuring tape and cut it. I'm just gonna kind of put it up here. I'm gonna go a little bit overlap, a little bit longer than what I think it needs. Okay, I'm a little bit longer. And what I'm first gonna do is use my hammer. I'm gonna hammer in these edges that are rough. So I'm going to screw these down. So they're not biting me. Same thing with the one down here. Okay, now on this piece, I want to fit it in where it's just right there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut at an angle. Okay, so I have an angle piece now. And that's gonna slip right on top of the old one. Okay, so there's the old piece, and it's gonna slip right on top of it. Okay, so what I actually want to do instead of going on top of it is I'm going to go right up to it on the bottom, and that'll give me a line that goes flush, but means that I got to cut the bottom because I'm too long on the bottom. So I'm going to take that measurement from right there. That's going to be my cut mark. So I'm going to first cut straight. Okay, and then I'm going to cut up again how I did on the other one, like a wing. And I might have to cut back some of the mud. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So let me... Again, a lot of people don't think you need to mesh tape or paper tape your metal, but I highly recommend it. Okay, so now you can see that it's going to have a straight line going back up to the top. And I have to mud it because you're not going to use screws with this kind of corner bead. We're going to mud it in. And also with this corner bead, I don't have to use mesh tape because it's already got the composite on there. So let me mix up some hot mud and we'll go ahead and hit this, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I'm trying to get you guys at the right angle so you can see this. So I mix up hot mud, another video, search library, shows you how to mix up hot mud. I have a 4-inch knife. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna butter up this side. Now because I have a gap here, I'm gonna go ahead and fill that. Then I'm going to butter up this side. Then I'm going to put a little bit in here. I'm like putting mayonnaise on a sub sandwich. Okay. And then I'm just going to stick it up here right to where the tip of the other metal is. And I'm squeezing it just enough that it kind of hits it. Then I'm wiping up at an angle. You know what? I think I'm going to use a little bit of mesh on this. So I'm going to grab some mesh tape. I'm staying off of the corner. Okay. Now I'm going to go full 4-inch. Well, actually, I'm going to strip it in first. I'm I'm gonna strip it in. Okay, then I'm gonna go full, going up. So I have a little bit of a divot on this side, so I'm gonna build it up. So I'm gonna cut this angle. I'm gonna cut the bottom. I'm gonna cut the top. Cut the top. Cut the bottom. All right, I'm gonna leave that and I'm gonna sand it down on the next one. Just because I don't like that fill. Okay, as you saw, I used the heat gun to kind of speed up the process. So what I'm going to do right now is just kind of give it a quick shave. Before I put on the second coat. Okay, and this part was giving me trouble because it was so deep. So I'm just going to kind of see if I can just kind of flatten it out. Okay, so let me mix up mud and we'll get a second coat. Okay, so first coat we did with the 4-inch. Second coat we're going to go ahead and do with the 6-inch. And these walls are textured, so I'm not really too worried about it. So again, I'm just putting pressure to the outside and cutting that or feathering that. Yeah, I'm gonna sand that down. I know it looks really heavy on the camera. It's not that bad. I'm gonna sand it down and then we'll get it ready for texture. Okay, so to finish up this metal that we sliced in, as we're gonna go ahead and sand it. I had a big lip up here. That's why this is so much heavier than the rest of it. So let's sand it and get it ready for texture. So you're just gonna use a little sanding block. You're going to try to kill the edge on the top and on the outsides. Again, you can just pinch it together and put pressure on that. And this is just 2 coats that we have on it. Now down here you wouldn't really care because that's where your base is going to go. So you're going to have anywhere from like 1.5 inches to, you know, 4 or 6 inches depending on how big your base is. You can give it a rub, but down here it's not too critical. So on this one, I do have somewhat of a hump. I'm gonna do one more coat just so I can kind of kill that edge, so it'll be better when we texture it. So for that, I'm just gonna use regular mud. I have an 8-inch knife. The rest of it was good. It was just that top part that I don't like. So I'll go ahead and put the heat gun on that and then we'll come back. Okay, so I had coated it from here to here. I hit it with the heat gun. I still feel a little hump, but I'm not too concerned about it. Texture's gonna cover it. And I went ahead and sanded it. Gave it a light sand. Now, if you remember in another video, if you watch a video I had before, I said that I shine the metal, which is when it comes to the corner bead, you're going to shine it so we can see the silver here. But if you remember, what we tied it in with is like a composite or if you use a plastic or a paper corner bead, you're not going to have that metal to shine. So I think right now I'm happy with it. It blends in pretty good. You can't see really where the cut was. Let me see if I can turn this around. So from up here is our tie-in, and you don't really see it too much. So we're going to go ahead and give it the texture. Okay, so for the tie-in metal, on this front side it's an orange peel, and on this back side, or the side of it, the inside of it, is a crow's foot. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a sponge and try to see if I can simulate the orange peel on the outside of it. So I have my pan, I have my sponge. I'm just going to dab it up a little bit. Okay. So what I do first is I use the inside, and then I dab it with the outside of it. I might even try this smaller side to see how that looks. Hopefully my big head's not in this whole thing, sorry. And all I'm doing is just giving it dabs on the outside here. See how there's still a lot of mud here, but I have hardly anything there. I'm just trying to dab it. No particular order. Just trying to kill that edge. Okay, and for the final one, it's this crowfoot that I have to mimic. That's what we did when we did the texture, hand textures. So that's what's on the inside of our broken metal. So again, I have this tool. You guys can see it in another video I have. And I'm just going to try to see if I can wet it up a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna let all this texture dry up, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. The hand texture. So I went ahead, and let me just back up first so you can see that you can't even tell the tie-in for the corner bead. You can't tell where we had to cut it. All right, let me see if I can back up more. You know, it just likes one continuous piece is what you want when you're repairing the corner bead. So we ended up actually doing the sponge hand texture here. Now this one doesn't match perfectly, I will say that. But instead of having to buy all kinds of stuff, I just use the sponge, but you can use the can because we saw up there the can worked on the medium, and that blends into that. And then on this side, I had to redo the crow's foot that on another video, I already textured this as a crow's foot. So I just went ahead and did the same texture on the inside. And that obviously match that because I'm the one who did the first time. So hold on.